Welcome back. Remember these? This was over a year ago that I made these toppers, and I have better cameras now. I have way better lighting, and I thought it would be a good idea to redo that video, show you more carefully how to make them. The reason why I started thinking about that is because my friend Connie, this season, when I pulled these out, she said, hey, I think I'd like to have a couple of those for my tiered tray. So we decided to get together and, well, we're having fun anyway, just remake that video for you. So Connie's on her way over and I've got everything set up. So we'll take you through it step by step and I will give you better visuals than you had last time. So we're going to get started, and Connie has decided to do a 4th of July. You brought your mug.
Got my mug.
And it's a good idea to have the mug ahead of time so that you can look at it and be thinking of how you want to decorate the topper so that it looks like it's, it's meant to be. I just want to go over the real basics, the things you need, not even counting any of the decorations, just the things that you're going to need for the actual making of the whipped cream topper. The first thing you're going to need, of course, is the whipped cream, or it is also known as patch and paint.
That's crazy. Who would have thought?
Yeah, feel how light that is.
Oh my goodness, like a cloud.
Right, you've got to get the lightweight. If you don't get the lightweight, then as you start to create your mound of whipped cream,
and it says lightweight on here, so really easy not to forget that.
Right. The other thing you're going to need is a piping bag. And if you do a lot of decorating anyway, you may already have these on hand, but if not, you can find them at Walmart. You can find them at Michael's, a little more expensive at Michael's, but you might have a coupon. And then you also are going to need the decorator tip, and when we go to put that on, I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
So I use the biggest tip, which, can you read what that says?
No.
Welcome to 60 plus, not 50. Okay, this is 1M. This is a Wilton 1M, which I think stands for medium. I'm not sure, and you have the same one.
Yes.
Now I have one more that I put over there, relatively the same,
yeah,
but it has a little different spout on the end. So if you were doing a smaller cup, you might want a little bit of a smaller whipped cream look. And that's the other thing. It's up to you how you want it to look. Real flat and whipped creamy, or do you want it to look sort of like a star? It's totally up to you, but those are the ones I use because you don't want the spackle, because really it is spackle, not whipped cream. You don't want it to get stuck inside the tip. And so it's got to be large enough to handle the flow of the spackle. The other thing you need is either a paper plate or...
I used the files.
Oh,
the filing.
yes.
Yeah, I cut mine out of that.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to take another piece of cardboard. But if you don't have that, you can always put your disc with a little extra piece of sticky tape on the back and just adhere it. And the only reason we're doing that is because once you start working with it, you need to be able to pick it up and take it to dry in a safe place.
Got it.
So we want it on something.
Makes
You
sense.
could put it on a baking pan too if you wanted to, but you don't want it to stick. You could put wax paper on it and then for sure it won't stick. Okay, so we covered our cardboard in wax paper just to make sure. And then we're going to take just a little tiny piece of double-sided tape and we are going to put that on the back of our disc and put that down here. The next thing we're going to do is take our piping bag and drop the scissors and cut the end of the bag about, let's put it down here, about there. You don't want it too wide because then the whole thing will fall out. You can always cut more.
Okay.
Okay, then drop it down in and see if it wiggles it. You might need to go back and cut a little more.
Yeah. Just cut a little bit more.
And see if that is
there.
enough.
Perfect, right?
You don't want too much of the plastic showing.
Okay.
And that's just the way you have to do it. You just look at it and decide. Because if the plastic is around where the little things are, you won't get that pretty
Oh, true.
flower look.
Good?
Yeah. I'm gonna fold this bag down. It makes it a lot easier to get the spackling in the bag. If you bake, if you do cupcakes, if you're already into the decorating thing, that you know this makes a lot easier.
This will be a piece of cake for you.
The other thing you can do is you can take a mug or a cup. Let me just grab yours and show that you could put this down in a cup, and it kind of supports it as you're filling it up. But you know, that's up to you. If you feel comfortable just holding it. So now let's see if I can get the lid off of this thing. It's a little tricky because if you get one of these and you open it up and it's not soft, if it's not soft like you think of icing, then that means it's been sitting on the shelf at your store. Ooh, look at that.
That looks really
good. Don't you just want to lick that? It just makes me want to lick it. Okay, so then get something that's, you know, pretty sturdy.
Okay.
We can wash these, so it's not like I use them all the time in the kitchen anyway.
And then just start scooping it in. Oh, look,
It is like
icing.
And get it as far down as you can.
Okay.
And move that over. So you see, I'm gonna drop that all the way down in there if I can, and then I'm gonna use my hand to kind of slide it off. Right. And it does get a little messy, so I would say before you dive into this project, make sure that you're not wearing your best clothes, and make sure that your sleeves aren't dangly.
Okay, so how do we want to fill?
Well, we're probably gonna do a couple. So
okay. It can stay in the bag for a little while? Like if you're doing 2 toppers, so I don't have to worry about it drying out?
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's a good question. Okay. You wouldn't leave it in the bag overnight or anything like that. But if you're doing a couple of these things, which one of these tubs should make 3 or 4 toppers depending on how large. Did you get enough in yours?
I think I did. And I knocked over on my stuff.
And I'm going to put one more dollop in mine.
How does that look?
That's perfect.
Okay.
That is perfect. And so between the two of us, we're going to use about 1 tub of this. And just so you know, here in California, that item, it's actually gone up since last year when I made this project. It was about $10.
And that was a 32 ounce, so, right? Yes.
Is it 32? Yes.
32.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so now let me squish mine down. A lot of people who have done this have talked to me about it and said, how do you get it to stay tall and not collapse? Or how do you not use so much? So what we're going to use is a little, like you get dressing in to go. Brilliant. So if you buy a salad, now again, depending on how tall, now this is kind of a short one. I have a taller one there. That's teeny tiny.
Yeah, and then there's
then the taller one. So you may want to use the taller one because look how tall your mug is.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's do, and I put it like that?
Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our disc and we're just going to put, let me get mine going here.
Do I put this on?
You're going to put a little blob of glue first. And then that glue will hold your, well, it should hold it in place for you.
Okay.
Put enough that you like plop it down in there.
Okay.
Yeah. We're doing white because I like the look of whipped cream. Yeah. But if you wanted to put some streaks of color in there, you can get those little craft paints. You can get chocolate, you can get a brown color, you could get pink. You could color this completely if you wanted to do a whole Easter style, which I'm thinking about doing. Cute. You could do a whole pink icing, yellow icing, lavender icing.
So do you think food coloring would work, or do you think it's too watery?
It might water it down. Okay. Just a couple of drops would probably work, but the paint seems to give it that nice icing consistency. Well, let's just start.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it. And you go as much.
Go around?
Well, yeah. And
you'll have to hold. You just gotta hold
initially, you've got to hold the thing. Yeah, because you don't want it to slide too far.
Got it.
And you can turn your paper around too. Yep. Once you get it secured. Is
that good?
Yep. Now, don't forget to kind of twist your I'm going to stand back and let you do one
Okay.
first. I think it's about, you can get your elbows in there.
Do I just build it up?
Yep, just build it up and try not to leave any gaps.
Okay. This is literally my first time ever doing this, so you guys are seeing it live. It goes to show that it's not that hard. Just takes a little patience.
Yes.
And a slightly steady hand.
You feel like, hey, I missed a spot.
Mm-hmm. You can go back.
You can go back and touch that up. Now, once you start getting to the top,
Yeah, I was just going to say, now what do I do?
now make sure you've got enough icing
Uh-huh.
in your bag, squished down, and then I take both hands
Okay.
and I like ring it and then build it up in the top.
Okay.
And if you need more,
We
you don't want it to be...
I can borrow yours.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't need it to be too tall because you've already got all that base established.
True.
Oh, it even sounds like icing.
It feels just like I've used these before with icing. It feels
Yeah.
exactly like that. I am going to touch up a little bit right here because I don't like that
Right, you
can
don't want your
see
paper to show
my
too much.
paper.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, what's interesting about these too is that yours looks exactly like whipped cream. It really does.
it does. It's crazy how much it does. Okay, I'm liking that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when you go to decorate it, you're gonna say, okay,
Right.
this is more of a better front side.
Right.
This is a better, side.
Okay.
Side. Okay, good.
Okay.
That looks good. All right, let me jump in here and I'll
Okay.
do mine
You want to do
quickly.
yours?
Mine's-
Now, after you have this on, how long do you have before it sets that you could decorate it?
Okay. You want to decorate it while it's soft because if you don't, nothing is going to stick.
There. Gosh, that's such a good idea. You would not have, you were right, you would not have gotten that volume
Yeah.
had you not put that inside. Oh, you put a little, I like that. That's cute. No, I like it.
Okay, and we may do a couple more today too,
Yeah.
so we'll learn from
Mine
each
has
other.
a lot of icing.
That's okay. Your cup is big.
Yes,
See-
that's true.
In proportion,
Yeah,
yours is
huge.
but it's the way you want it.
Okay.
Okay, now you can start to put sprinkles on. You can put, I even brought, let's show them the glitter.
Yes.
This is something that I didn't do last year, and then I thought, I have this super
Really
fine
pretty.
glitter that you could do a little dusting of that. I kind of like those that look sort of magical,
Mm-hmm.
but that's up to you. Or I have these little epoxy
And they're
sprinkles.
Sprinkles, but they're not edible.
No, these are not edible, and I will put a link so that you can get these from the lady that I got them from. She's on Etsy, and they come in a little, container. You don't need many.
So cute. So many different
Yeah.
styles.
So when you go to her website, don't think, oh, I've got to spend a fortune on these. I think I spent $4 or5 on each one, and I bought maybe 3 or 4. She's using a straw that says USA on it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you cut the straw, because you're not going to poke down into, a real straw length. You're only going to use a piece of the straw. It's going to look like it's poked down in, but so when you cut it, it's going to crimp a little bit. So I suggest that you use 2 straws if they have print on it or writing. If the straw is exactly the same, then you can use 1 straw and cut it in half or cut it in 3 pieces. But Connie's says USA, and she wants it to match. The reason why is the top of the straw is perfectly round. It didn't get crimped. So we want that perfect end sticking out. Now again, think about how do you want your straw to be sticking out. Do you want it on an extreme angle, like this one is kind of straight up, or do you want to angle it in? It's completely up to you.
That's the creative part of it.
And you don't even have to put straws if you don't want to.
Okay.
Now remember, there's a cup in there.
Right.
So you're only going to get so far, and then you're going to hit that plastic cup.
Right. Okay.
If you put one in and it's not, you don't feel like it's secure, you can always take it back out and trim it down again. So that's not a big deal. Okay, that looks good.
It's not too tall?
I don't think it's too tall.
I think I'm going with 1 straw.
Okay.
I think I might do 1 straw because I have this.
Right.
So I'm going to put my little...
Now that, okay, good. I was
I
going to say,
slid
I
it,
don't
yep.
know how far it's going to go.
It kind of went on the side, so there.
Okay.
And then I
she's
have
gonna
little
put some
red sprinkles.
And again, these sprinkles are not edible. If you have, like I have, a bunch of those sprinkles, real ones, what will happen is because this is wet, that food coloring or whatever it is that they coat the candy sprinkles with will start to dissolve and it will look really messy on your topper. Do you need more sprinkles?
I think it's
or maybe some glitter.
Maybe some glitter.
Maybe some glitter. Okay, now what we want to do with the glitter is maybe put a paper plate down because the glitter is probably going to go everywhere. So you may need to hold it up and kind of tilt it around. Again, that's why we wanted to secure it to the plastic.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to look at mine and see what
I think I'm just going to go for it. And I'm
Okay. And it's very fine glitter.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I hope the camera
Now
can
do
see
some
that.
of the sides
So
too.
Cute.
Get your back and your sides. You've got to do this while it's wet.
Right. Okay. I'm going to touch it a little bit right there.
Right, and when you're maneuvering, if you see a spot that looks like, oh, how did I miss that? Just touch it up. You've still got some left over that you can do.
Because that's one of the things to really be careful of, which I wasn't when I first started placing my things. I should have turned it around and made sure what side I liked, because I would have chose the other side, but I just started plunking things down. So remember to do that. Remember to, because now I'm having to touch up where the side was that I wasn't quite happy with. But I think now it looks good. But that's just kind of a tip. Make sure you
assess it.
Assess it first. Yeah, look at, oh, that's so pretty. The glitter is so pretty.
Yeah, I like that glitter, and
Me
I had
too.
it for another craft, and I forgot all about it. And this actually is a little plastic ring, like comes in a cupcake.
Save everything
Yes.
that you think might work. That's such a good...
Jagged where I cut it, and then one is nice and perfect. So again, I've got a cup in there, so I'm gonna go, yes. Let's see. What is that?
Or is there another
Is that
cup?
my Christmassy green? Yeah, that's just spring green.
It's a little more, yeah.
Yeah. This is
It's so pretty.
Oh, now look,
don't
mine's sliding. Mine is like, okay, so note to self, don't tilt it too much.
Yeah. That's pretty. The
Yeah.
green was a good choice because the gold straws would have
Yeah.
been too much with
It
more
is
gold.
too much. Okay. After this dries, a minimum of 24 hours. Put it somewhere where it won't get wet, it won't get bumped. It's maybe a warm, dry place. Put it away for a couple of days if you can. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it outside and we're gonna lightly dust it with a clear coat. And the reason why is because this glitter may not stick everywhere. It's gonna stick pretty good, but there might be a little double layer of glitter, like where I've got a little thick. And so this will make sure that it's secure. I buy 2 different ones, so depending on what you want, I get the clear satin, so it's clear, but it's a real soft. And then I also get just crystal clear. So again, depending on what kind of look you're going for,
Right.
you want to just lightly dust them, and that sort of, I don't want to say glues it down, but it secures it. So that
It maybe preserves it a little bit longer.
yeah. So we're pretty much finished, and so I'm going to show you how to remove the tip, your icing tip. So we want to get any extra icing out of the way, and then we're just going to cut that off, and we'll throw that out. Then you're going to clean this out. And just rinse it down the sink. It's no big deal. And then that gives you a little bit of flexibility to get that last little bit of plastic off of there. You can see how that comes out. And then just rinse this out. If you are using these on your real food, then of course you're going to clean it up really good with hot water and get it ready for the next project. But for me, I just use these on my crafts anyway. So there you go. That's it. And like I said, you just throw that out. Now, so thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
It was
Thank
fun.
you. Now we need to make my Christmas one.
Yeah,
I'm
she's going to make
excited.
Christmas and I'm going to make an Easter one.
All right.
So I'll show you how those turn out. Hey, thanks for joining me this week. Thank you for joining me this week.
You're welcome.
And we will see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, if you haven't subscribed, you know.
Subscribe.
All right.
Thumbs up.
Bye.
Bye.